the biggest thing that held me back, and the biggest thing that I've had to overcome, is just the lack of self-confidence, feeling like, who am I to do this? Don't let that fear, that imposter syndrome, or that fear of who should you, because honestly, just do it.
Hey there, welcome to the Chill Mamba Show, and I'm your host, Michelle Han. If you're tuning in today, you're in for a treat because I have with me Louise Glendon, who's the creator of Click, Love, Grow, an online photography school designed to help women and moms fall in love with their cameras and take photos they love. But get this, besides talking about taking great photos, we will also be asking Louise on how she grew her Facebook group to a group of 27,000 engaged women, because we all know growing, building a community around a business is good business sense. So before I ramble any further, so let's bring Louise up and let her introduce herself to you.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, so how did you get started?
That is a great question. So I was actually in the military for 13 years, which sounds crazy. Even I think back and think, what? But I really loved, I was in the Australian Air Force, and I had my kids in the Air Force, and they were really supportive and great. But I kind of reached that point, which I think happens to a lot of mums, is that I was in the military, which is a little bit competitive, and you have a promotion path set out for you. And because I had my kids, I was always in this struggle between, do I go on my promotion courses? Do I leave my kids and do these career advancing things? Or do I stay home and be the mom that I really want to be? And so I wasn't really able to reach the level of success that I wanted in my career while being the mom that I wanted to be. So I was dealing with that conflict, and which I'm sure so many people can relate to. And so we had an opportunity to go to the US. My husband went over and did a training course there, and I kind of worked from home a little bit, but I had the kids at home, and it was this opportunity where I had a lot of time on my hands aside from my kids, and I threw myself into photography, and I really loved it. I figured it out, and because we had a lot of family back home in Australia, I was taking a lot of photos and sending them home. So when I came back to Australia, I thought, you know what, I kind of liked that not working lifestyle. I did go back part-time in the Air Force, but my photos were progressing, and I decided to start offering that as a service. So I ended up growing a photography business. I did families and kids, which is kind of the normal progression, but I actually ended up niching in boudoir photography. I don't know if you've heard of boudoir photography before.
Yes. No, I've not had it, but it's taking off in Singapore. I've seen a few friends. They're beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful niche. So I kind of saw it in the US. When I came back to Australia, I didn't really see a lot of, there wasn't really a market. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to choose this as a niche because I'd learn about how niching can really help you grow your business. And it was absolutely true. I grew a really successful boudoir photography business. I loved it. I loved my clients. And that kind of gave me the opportunity. I was making more money than in my, my other jobs. So I was able to make that leap. But because we were military, my husband work, we move a lot. He got offered a job in the US, and so at that point I started learning about online marketing, and at first I was using it to grow my boudoir business, but because I knew that we'd probably end up moving, the idea of having a location-based business didn't really fit that plan, because it would mean closing it down and restarting it every time we moved somewhere. So in that space, I kind of looked around at opportunities again and thought, what isn't really being done in the space? And there were a lot of online photography workshops, but there was nothing that if I had a friend and she said, Lou, I just want to take good photos of my kids, I have this camera, there was nowhere I could say, go here, this will teach you what to do, this is the very beginner first step. And I was like, you know what, that's what I'm going to create. And so that's how Click, Love, Grow was born.
Awesome. It's always a progression, isn't it? Where we thought we start, we never really ended up there. And then we kind of, the more we learn, and we're like, hey, perhaps this is where we find sort of like a niche for ourselves and a need out there. Like you get your friends asking you questions. So awesome. So that's how you started this online photography school designed to help moms, but why women and moms in particular?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because obviously, and people have said to me, why don't you just make it for everyone?
Yeah.
I think it was very much, I was in that space of studying online marketing and digital marketing and seeing how powerful the messaging could be when it was really niched. So instead of just saying, hey, you can take great photos of birds and wildlife and your kids, I just made the messaging really strongly to be, I was a mom. I wanted to take great photos of my kids. I found it really difficult to figure it out. Here's the way that I figured it out. It just, seemed to allow me to create a lot more content that was targeted, and that, the messaging really resonated a lot more than I think if I just started a generic for everyone kind of business.
Yeah. And that's also what you were going through, right? Because you were
Totally.
focusing on more children, and you totally get the need, and getting to the kids level to take great photos is totally different from taking a still object.
That's
So
true.
you started the business in 2013, so over 6-7 years now. You thought
Yeah, it's crazy.
students all over the world and a thriving community. So I want to know, did the student come first or the community that come first? So how did it all started?
That's a really good question. So the students definitely came first. I think I was really lucky. I had one of those launches where straight out of the gate, it just sold. I think our first launch, we sold about 123 places on the course. And I was very much that example of validate the idea and then write the course later.
Right.
So that very first course, every week I was like writing that lesson. To get it out there.
A weekly lesson, and you were just like, okay, that people are watching this now, let me go prepare the next one, right?
Yes,
awesome.
Totally. So that was kind of how it came about. And I don't know, a lot has changed in the online space. We used to do these big 8-week launches, and back then Facebook had amazing organic reach. So, I could work with an influencer. They would do one post and I would just see the sales start coming in. But it doesn't really work like that anymore, unfortunately. And so I guess the community came about in a couple of ways, and we use community in a couple of ways in our business. So the first is our community of students that we have. So we noticed that as people came through the course, we did the Facebook group, and then we'd invite them to stay as part of our regular community after the course was finished. And we cultivated that group of women. And because we made it a fun place and a supportive place that they could keep learning after the course had finished, they would tell friends about it and do referrals. Whereas if we had just let them take the course and disappear, we wouldn't have that strong word of mouth, because we weren't nurturing those relationships. So that's in one way that we've really invested. And now that we have subsequent programs that people can go on and learn in our advanced course and our other creative workshops, we have a community of women who've already taken one of our courses. They stay engaged. We keep the group really active, and then they're ready to join in our future programs. The other way we use a community is our free group that you were talking about. And so I guess that came about when, as we were launching, things started to change. Facebook reach became a lot lower. The launches, I guess, weren't working in the same way that they always had. So one of the ways that we tried to adapt was starting a free online group so that we could attract people that we knew would be interested. We could build our profile in that group and make sure that we had that reach that we weren't getting, that you used to be able to get on a Facebook page. So that kind of came about as one of those, how in marketing you experiment, you try things, you see what sticks. It was one of those.
Okay, so just so we're clear, you had you still have two Facebook groups. So one for the paid students to continue on their education, and one free group.
Yes,
group. Okay.
That's right.
So are the members of both groups the same people, you would say, or they're totally different, or you do have people in both the groups?
We have people in both the groups. So I guess ideally people join the free group, they engage, they see our content, they decide to purchase the course, they come through, then they're a student, so then they also belong to the student group as well. And some people will post in both, or some people, after they become a student, they just come hang out in, it's not a paid group, but it's the students. Whereas some people stay really active in both. It's totally up to them. But because we run it can work really well. So we run a lot of free events in the free group. So if we're doing a challenge, like a photo challenge and we get people to share photos. It's great if the bigger community can see how amazing the photos are of our students and they're sharing because they think, wow, they've taken the course, their photos are really great. That adds another layer of almost like testimonial or you know, visibility of what they could achieve if they join the course. So we do try and, you know, get people to participate in the free one even after they're a student.
Ah, okay, that's a good idea. And okay, that now I'm sure that is on a lot of people's mind. First of all, they don't even know what sort of content to put in a group to get people engaged and asking questions, let alone having two groups. So do you put the same content onto both, or you have different content dedicated to each of the groups?
Yeah, so we do have a little bit of overlap. I guess if we share a blog post, you know, I think one of the things, it can feel really scary. They're like, oh, I've got to create all this new content. It's always about repurposing and, you know, distributing your content in as many places as you can. So if we have a blog post, then, you know, you can share that in the groups. With our student communities, one of the ways that we get people to engage is run challenges. So every 2 weeks, there's a challenge. People go and do that photo challenge. We pick a winner. You know, we share their photo on the blog and on social media to give them that kudos. So that's something we just do in our paid groups. And then in our free groups, I've experimented with so many different types of content. So people basically are there because they want to learn. And the goal of the group is to let them know who I am, let them know that I can help them, and then build that relationship over time so that hopefully they say, yes, okay, I'm going to jump in. So when we do, each week we do our favorite top 10 images from our students. We make that a blog post. So I would jump on live on a video and say, hey everyone, I'm just checking in, you know, to share our favorite 10 images of the week, and I will scroll through those photos. I'll talk about why I love them. Another video content that I would do is critiquing images. So I would say to people, hey, I'm going to be live, you know, tomorrow. Share a photo below that you would like to be critiqued. I'll pick 5 and then I'll do a video critiquing those videos. So people would share their photos and then join in for the video, and I would share like tips, you know, to help them and critique photos to show what people are doing well, what people can do to improve. So again, it's helping them, like I'm giving tips, but it's also allowing them to see my teaching style, and so they can get to know me a little bit more. So yeah, and then just regular blog posts we put on, you know, a tool like Recur Post that will automatically just post them. So that's something that happens continuously. So every time we do a blog post, we just pop it into the feed and then they get regularly posted for people to see.
Awesome, great. So do you repurpose your, no, not repurpose, do you reshare your blog post once, or do you reshare it, say, every 2 or 3 months?
Oh, so yeah, we do reshare them a lot. So we do have a content calendar. So we put out regular blog posts. I'm going to say, because I have a team that helps me, don't think I do this all by myself. I definitely have a content team that helps me. And so that's why I don't know the exact answer of how many blog posts, but we have a Monday blog post and every second Wednesday blog post. And I think we may do a Friday once a month blog post. So that's all fresh content. Then we recycle posts. What we found though is, because I've been blogging for over 5, 6, 7 years, when was 2013, we have a lot of material. So what I do is when people join our mailing list, I have about 9 months worth of emails that are the nurture sequence. So then, yeah.
Awesome. Wow. So that's like, then you keep them engaged as soon as they join your, get a lead, what do you call that? A lead, download a lead magnet from you. They're automatically in your list, and you keep them engaged. And obviously, somewhere in between those emails, get them to join your Facebook group, get them engaged again over there, getting to know you and get them comfortable seeing you on videos. And eventually, if they do want to step up in the photography game and sign up for your course.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning that you had a few more advanced course and more beginners course. So how many products you have at the moment?
So we have 2 core products. So we have our Enthusiast photography course, which is our beginner level course. And that's the course where we do pretty much all our marketing, all our lead generation, all our opt-ins are focused on that beginner mum who wants to take, literally it's, people just want to take great photos of their kids. So that's where the majority of our marketing is focused. So that's our core product. It's our 8-week online course. Then we have an advanced course, which is kind of like our higher ticket course. It runs for 4 months. It has a lot of in-depth one-on-one support. So for every time people share their photos, our instructor team will really help them. This is what you've done well. This is where you can improve. Live calls, those kind of things. And we run that twice a year, whereas our beginner course runs there's a new one running every month. And then a new product we've just introduced in the last 18 months are creative workshops. So they go for a month. We invite back one of our past students who's become, really successful in a particular niche, or they take beautiful photos, and they will be our guest mentor for a month. We put together a program. So we've been doing those, and they're really fun because it's a new, specific topic. We've done macro flower photography and lifestyle baby photography and using beach light. So it's really a skill that people can think, oh, I really want to practice that, learn from a different mentor. So I think we've done about 8 of those so far, and we run those every second month now. And those courses are aimed at our existing community. So that marketing is a lot more internal to students that have already taken our courses, whereas our beginner course is what all our external marketing is focused on.
That's awesome. So you make sure that there's a beginner course to get people engaged first, to just to try it out first, and then once they get really into it, then they can step it up. And if they want to go niche, then you have your past students as your social proof testimonial to come back and teach them in depth of what they want to know.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And and again, it goes to show how you still include your past students as part of your community, right? And they will be bringing, now that they're expert in their own niche, they will be bringing their audience into your community.
Yeah, totally. And look, it's not something, like I said, I've been doing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
Which feels crazy. This is not something I had all figured out on day one. And also there was a lot of resistance. I was like, just have your core product, even the advanced, I'm like, who am I to teach advanced? I think it's normal. We all have that resistance. But the thing was, people took our courses, they loved them. And then there was nothing else. There was no reason to stay when a lot of our competitors had all these fun things for people to go do. And they're like, Lou, we want to keep learning through you, but you don't have anything next. So I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone and had to listen to the community around that side of developing, different and other products for people to join in.
Yeah, and that's the best way to develop product. Just listen to your community, listen to what they want, and if they want it, just give it to them.
That's so true.
Yeah. There's a bit of resistance, but hey, they want it. All right, I could do something about it.
And it sounds so easy, right? When we say it like that.
Yeah, it does. And not to forget, you're also a mom. So tell our audience how many kids you have, their ages, and along creating products and engaging a community and building a team. So how did that happen? So when did you first hire your first staff, team members, and then how did that grow? Because it sounds pretty massive now.
Yeah, well, it's not massive, but I am lucky. I have an amazing team, and look, it's scary as well, right? Hiring people is definitely scary. So I have 2 older girls. They're 11 and 13. So they were my cute little models, I guess, when I was creating all the course content. So people always laugh. They see my girls at 4, 5, 6, and now they're, almost teenagers. So they're 11 and 13. And then when we moved to the US, I fell pregnant. And so we have a little boy who's 4. And so I guess for me, one of my first staff member or team member, she was with me from the very start, and I just reached out to her and I said, are you interested in helping with the instructor side and just helping me out with a little bit of content? And this is what I always say to people, if someone helps you for an hour a week, that is a great place to start. It's not scary. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So that was 7 years ago. She now works, 30 hours a week and is an integral part of our team. I have someone who is my admin support. So they do emails, payment plan management, all the back end like tech, kind of support. They do a lot, but that came about when I was in the US and I was pregnant. I ended up having to come back to Australia because my dad had terminal cancer. So I grabbed my kids, 30 weeks pregnant, flew back to Australia. It was all very dramatic. But in times like that, you have to get support for your business because it's just not possible. So I've been working with a VA to handle all that, for the last 4 or 5 years, I guess. And then they were always my core team. And then as I've grown, I brought on someone to run our Facebook ads. So they're a really important part of our team. And then I have an instructor team of 4 other women. So as our courses have gotten bigger, one of the things we pride ourselves on is actually giving amazing support to our students. And I definitely can't do that all by myself. So our instructor team is all past students that we've reached out to that have joined and become part of our team. So I have, amongst that team, between them, they create content, do all our social media, do our email newsletters. Yeah, and then I have the regulars like bookkeepers and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the team now. And again, slowly over time is how I built it.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. I think it's important for people to know that when you need help, you need help. And there's no way you're able to do it all on your own, mums or not, right? So yeah, and the good thing is I suppose your team members are all remote as well. They're working from their home.
Yeah. So they're all mums as well. They're all mums, they work from home. All of them have a background in photography, especially our students. So yeah, it's really nice to, have them all. It's great to go see them. Sometimes some of them are in Melbourne, so I get to catch up with them a few times a year. But they kind of understand the flexible side of it, I guess, as well.
Yeah. And people will be interested to get into the online space because of the flexibility and the fact that we can still have our business going at, this time, with this really weird time in our lifetime, I suppose. But the blessing is that our business can still go on and everyone still has a job.
Absolutely. Oh, and so I'm sure you were the same, and lots of people, when the COVID-19 first happened, that was my first thought, was like, oh my God, like, how is it going to impact my business? But how am I going to keep paying my team? Like, that was, because I support so many. Yeah, it is really scary. And so I've been really grateful. Thankfully, our business has been okay. But the online space, it just makes it doable.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on. And before you go, I would like you to share maybe like one nugget of tips that you'd like to share with our, mom bosses growing the community out there.
Yeah. I would just say, the biggest thing that held me back and the biggest thing that I've had to overcome is just the lack of self-confidence, feeling like, who am I to do this? Or, what qualifications, or who's going to listen to me? But I think the biggest takeaway is, even if you're sharing something that someone else is doing, you will be sharing it in a way that will resonate with people, who are hearing the message in the way that you deliver it. So don't let that fear, that imposter syndrome, or that fear of who should you, because honestly, just do it. Like, yeah, I've been in that place, and as long as you just keep showing up consistently, you are authentically trying to help people and give value, just keep doing it.
Awesome. And where can our audience find you?
Oh yeah, so we have a free mini photography course for anyone that's thinking, actually, yes, I would like better photos. Just head to clicklovegrow.com. All our links to our socials and everything are on the webpage there.
All right, we'll make sure to put it in our show notes, and you can find Louise and get to know her more over there, and perhaps join her community. I would actually go look you up right away.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for those who are watching or listening in. If you like more videos like this, go to michellehorn.com, join our newsletter, join our list. That's what we always do when we build an online business. Get you to join our list, and then you will not miss another episode of the Chill Mom Boss Show. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.